Hi, it's Ellen Violette here. And for those of you who aren't very familiar with me, I am the owner of Books Open Doors, and I'm a book coach and strategist. And I'm really excited about something that I want to share with you guys. So, first, I want to tell you a story. And the story is that I want to be very honest here and tell you that my business got to a point at one point where it was a chaotic mess. And it was when I was already making six figures, but the more money I made, the worse it got. And in the beginning, it was easy. It was like somebody gave me a strategy. It was called Teleseminar Secrets, Alex Mandosian. I learned how to do them and I just did what he told me to do and it worked. But as I got to six figures, as I said, it just got harder and harder to make it work. It got more chaotic. It was trouble keeping good help. I was stressed out all the time. My help was stressed out all the time, and then people started quitting on me. And I had a couple of really good VAs who both quit. And in retrospect, I completely understand why they did. And basically, I was trying to do what most entrepreneurs do when they start, which is doing everything yourself. And I didn't do everything myself, as I said in the beginning. I mean, I had a web person, I did hire VAs, but uh, I just couldn't keep them. And so what ended up happening is that I was so stressed out over the whole thing, and I decided I needed to make more passive income, but I had no clue how to do that. And then in the middle of all that, everything changed. When I started, I just had email and webinars, actually, not even webinars, teleseminars. And then what happened was that social media came in and webinars and video, and everything changed. And all the things that I had been doing to fill my courses wasn't working as well anymore. And as I said, I was burned out. So I didn't really care because I really didn't want to do as much anyway. And I started working more overtime one-on-one. And I went into Kindle with a client and I discovered that I really knew how to do that just automatically. And I started doing number one bestseller launches and I got really good at that. And then my business started becoming more one-on-one, which was odd. Like I'd started with groups and then I had one-on-ones, but then it got all one-on-ones and it was very high end in referral. But I wasn't trying to get more clients because I knew what happened when I got more clients. It got chaotic and stressful and I had anxiety and I didn't want to do it. But I couldn't grow my business that way. And so, nobody told me that that is not the way to go into business. The way to go into business is to understand what you want your business to look like when it's running at full speed ahead and then designing it that way and looking at the lifestyle that you want and making sure that the business that you're creating is going to give you that. I had a coach and I had to scrape money together to hire him because I was just not doing well at that point. And he told me to start a podcast. And so I started my podcast and he said it was easy, but I didn't find it easy. I spent 9 months on that. It didn't work. And then finally, I just scrapped it and started over. And I really had to go with my own intuition. But it still wasn't easy, even though I was finally on the right path. I felt like I was making progress. One of the things that I took was a 3-day virtual event with Suzanne Evans, which was called Take the Stage. And what came with my admission to the event was a box, and it had a whole bunch of goodies in it. And one of the goodies that came with it was a book. And this book blew my mind. And that was why I wanted to do this video today. So before I tell you what the book is, I want to explain to you what happened when I started reading the book. So I start reading the book, and he's telling a story about these two brothers. I think they're brothers. And they started a business. And they were doing everything in the business, and then it got to be too much for them because they started making more money, and they brought in a third person and then a fourth person and a fifth person. And he talks about how they're growing the business, but nobody knows what everybody else is doing. There's no accountability. And as it grows and grows, it becomes more and more chaotic. And I went, oh my God, that sounds really familiar to me. And then what he said was, that is the wrong way to start a business. So the right way to start a business is, first of all, to understand that you want your business to be able to run without you, because that way you can take vacations, you can sell the business if you want to, and you just have that flexibility. And so I've always heard people talk about, well, you have to work, on your business, not in your business. Like, well, when can I work on my business? I'm so busy working in my business. And he talks about how that happens when you're a technician. And what a technician is somebody who, let's say you have a job as an editor, for instance, and now you say, well, I can make more money for myself just being an editor myself than working for this guy being an editor for him. And so they go, okay, I'm going to go into business. But that's the technician in you. That's not the person who's going to manage the business. And that's not the person who is going to be like the president, who has the business but isn't working in the business. And what happens is you have to be in balance with those three people, the entrepreneur, the manager, and the technician, or your business will be chaotic, a mess, and most likely will fail. And so that was what I struggled with for a long time. And then as I'm reading the book, he explains how to change that. And I've never had an explanation that was so clear that I could really just follow from a book, but this one has that. And so he talks about how they should have structured the business. And then he talks about how to start working towards it. So what he says is, as I said, you want to start where you know what it is you want to achieve when the business is at full tilt. And then you start working towards that by figuring out what are all the jobs that have to be done in the business. And then, yes, maybe you're doing all of them at the beginning, but you start creating a manual for other people to take over doing the other jobs, and you understand where you're trying to go with the business ultimately. So that was huge for me. I had never had somebody explain it to me. And the truth is, I recommend everybody get this book the minute they decide to go into business. But since nobody told me that, I'm telling you that now. And I will tell everybody that I work with going forward, if they're not just an author, but they're an entrepreneur and they're going to have a business, that this is what they need to read and the way they need to set it up. So the name of the book, drum roll please, is The E-Myth Revisited. The E-Myth Revisited. And you see the Keep, that's from Keep, which was formerly Infusionsoft, and they actually gave us a free copy of the book in that box that I got with Take the Stage. So that's the book, and you can get the book. And I appreciate it if you do go through my link, because I just want to keep my affiliate link working on Amazon. And that's http://ellenlikes.com/e-myth. Okay. ellenlikes.com/e-myth. But I can't really stress enough how much every business owner should have this book. Usually what they'll do when you buy a book, they'll tell you, well, they'll lay out sort of the theory of it, but they won't give you the exact blueprint. He gives you the exact blueprint in here, the exact blueprint. And the thing is it's not just great so that I can give it to somebody else, but even when I'm doing certain things in my business, like, proposals that I do over and over, or emails that I send out, when somebody wants to be on the podcast, or after they're been on the podcast, just all the different things that you do that could be systematized and then ultimately given off to somebody else. But if you don't know how to do it, then it's difficult to do it. So you can hear about all this stuff in theory forever, but actually having the blueprint and then being able to follow it is a whole different level without spending thousands of dollars to do it. So go get the book, The E-Myth, ellenlikes.com/e-myth. And I'd love to hear your takeaways and how it works for you. And as I said, I'm so excited about reading this book. I just had to share it. So that's it for now. Bye-bye.